In 1987, the National Contract Management Journal mentioned topics we're still not getting right in 2023.
We know we need to do things better in contract management, but we're never quite getting there. So I've built these contract management trends around those. We want to break through these barriers once and for all. So I can remember redlining contracts with pen and paper. It's pretty much the way I learned to review contracts, right? I can also remember the pain of having to get these reviewed. You'd either send the red lines to the other party on the paper format, or you would then have to spend loads of time changing your red line notes into digital notes, or you could be kind of lazy and just scan your red lines and email the scanned version to the counterparty. All of these things were genuinely what I was taught and how I was taught to redline contracts in a contract management role when I started out. So I'm happy that we now have software that helps with a whole bunch of things regarding contract management. But having software dedicated purely to the contract in isolation isn't enough, because guess what? Contracts do not happen in isolation. And there's always one type of contract that is left out, let's say. That's the vendor contract. So we're going to see the popularity of vendor contract management software, something like Gatekeeper, right? Where vendor and contract lifecycle management just grow, because every time I talk to in-house lawyers, every time I talk to procurement people, every time I talk to a contract management professional, they're saying the same thing. My vendor contracts are always neglected over my sales contracts. Yeah, I've got loads of risk, loads of worries, loads of concerns about what's happening with those vendor contracts. And only once we think about it like that, when we associate the contract with the vendor, can we pick up on all of the risks, the relationship elements that make effective contract management within the procurement lifecycle. That's what we're going to see more of in 2023. What's happening more and more is that someone outside of procurement, legal, contract management is owning the contract within your business. They become effectively a contract owner. They're responsible for the day-to-day contract management of that vendor contract. But how are they going to do this when it's so complex for them to distill what their obligations are within that contract? So what are they meant to be doing? What is the vendor meant to be doing? So we need to consider legal design and contract simplification. Legal design is making the contract work for each individual reader. So this could mean making the contract layout different. The legalese elements of the contract would all be bundled together. Things like indemnities, liabilities. Because hey, it's only really legal or contract management that need to understand these parts of the contract. Payment sections, which are used by finance, project management, the contract owner, and even procurement, would be simplified to explain exactly when the vendor is going to be paid. This could be a really good example of having some sort of diagram, a visualization of when payment is triggered, when it should be paid. And by designing the contract in this way, by simplifying the language used, it means people can actually pick up a contract doc digitally, right? Read it and understand what they need to be doing at any time. And whilst we're here, and I've kind of spoken about it throughout, contract management cannot be the sole responsibility of your procurement and contracts teams. It just cannot happen, and it will not work. It has to be the responsibility of the entire business, which means Doug in finance, hey, he will be responsible for managing your ERP relationship, because hey, Doug's in there every day, he's in the weeds, he's doing everything, he knows all the problems, he knows all the perks, he knows the people on the other end. He's definitely best placed to manage this contract, albeit with the help of a procurement pro who may be assigned to that, a contract management professional, someone like that who can give that oversight, who can provide support and guidance when Doug in finance needs it. And to finish off the trends for 2023, let's talk about sustainability, ESG, so environmental, social, and governance. ESG is a subset of sustainability as a whole, but what can legal and contract management teams do about this? In the 2022 General Counsel Sustainability Study, 55% of General Counsel reported that they believe the volume of internal and external communications, including legally required reporting on ESG matters, will increase over the next 3 years. And wow, that sounds like a lot of work coming your way, my friends. So for me, and how I view this in my simple mind around contracts, is that our contracts need to start including clauses, provisions, ways to get ESG data out of our vendors and our supply chains to enable this reporting. And you Couple that with onboarding of your vendors, where you collate more data outside of the contract. You put all of this together with external market feeds providing information as well. You're going to be in a really good spot to track your ESG and wider sustainability reporting obligations. Let's call them obligations because they may be regulated, legislated against, or they may be required from your board, your investors. But the only way to get this right is for contract management to be very closely aligned to both procurement and legal. That's how you do this. And that culture, that way of working has to permeate through the entire business. So for me, 2023 is going to be a wild year in contract management. I love being a contract management professional within the procurement space. It just gets me so excited with all of the cool stuff going on within tech, within simplification, legal design, and I think ESG, sustainability, and that wave of obligations on our part to do more as a profession is just going to make us be even more skilled. We're going to learn more. We're going to be working closely with everyone across our business. I think it's going to be a really cool year to be a contract management professional. So hopefully, my friends, you enjoyed this video. I'll leave this video just here for you. It's what I would do in my first 90 days as a brand new contract management professional. And I'll see you real soon. Goodbye.